Today's Wednesday, November 12th, 2014, and you're tuned into the Elevator Radio Show. The Elevator Radio Show is a proud supporter of the Elevator Escalator Safety Foundation. To find out how you can make a difference, visit their website today at www.esf.org. Everybody got a good show for you today, so stay tuned. Here it comes.
You're tuned in to the Elevator Radio Show, a weekly program dedicated to covering news and information on elevators, escalators, and moving walkways. Produced in the wee hours of the morning, a new show is uploaded every Wednesday, sometimes even before you get out of bed. Listen to some of the comments sent in from our audience.
Rob from New York writes, Tom, are you f***ing insane? You actually get up at 2 a.m. each Wednesday to put this show out? Man, you must love elevators. Tim from Illinois writes, I'm not sure why I listened, but ever since I tuned into the first show back in 2007, I've been addicted. Matt in Texas writes, I like your safety messages, Tom. It's important to remember them each and every day. And he also adds,
when am I going to win the monthly prize pack giveaway?
Ron from California sent this in. Despite your inability to pronounce words in the English language, I tune in each week and am glad that you offer this service to the industry. It's better than Google News alerts. Sarah from Washington writes, love the show, Tom, and look forward to it each week. I'm glad I signed up for the newsletter. You provide a valuable resource for the industry, not only for North America, but worldwide.
Enjoy the show. And now, here's your sleep-deprived host, Tom Seibert.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Yes, it is another Wednesday morning here, and it is cold. Yeah, temperatures outside right now are about 26 degrees, but there's a wicked wind coming in from the west, and those of you who have already been hit up in the upper Midwest with the first snowstorm of the year, man, it's a doozy. It's amazing. You know, I think last year at this time, it was cold. I mean, it was definitely cold, and I know that because our family went up to Wisconsin for Thanksgiving, and the lake that my parents' house is on was frozen. That frozen enough where we could actually walk on it. It's a good, I want to say it was a good 4 inches thick, maybe 5, and posed no risk to skate on or play some hockey or have a bonfire on, but this year it just hasn't been that cold. But man, after yesterday and the day before, it just seems like there's 12 to 14 inches of snow in many places in the upper Midwest areas. So, and it looks as if there's still some snow. There's some snow falling out west in Colorado as well. So, I guess winter is here, or it is on its way, and it is not going to release its claws on us until it gets turns into 2015. On the good side, the good news is that sometime in February, the first or second week in February, at this time, the amount of light that we get here in the northern hemisphere is going to be similar at that time. So, trying to mentally prepare myself for the dark days and it's not like we're living in Alaska or anything, but it's just, I don't know, that's the toughest part for me. I don't mind the cold so much, but the days as they get shorter in terms of light, it just seems to wear me down a little bit. So, got to get my vitamin D somehow, and it's not going to be through the sunshine, unfortunately. So, make sure you're getting your vitamin D as well, but just make sure you don't overdo it. On the same note. Hey, I apologize. I did not get a chance to thank all of our veterans last week during the program. I forgot that Veterans Day was yesterday last week. I did remember it yesterday, and a big thank you to all of you who have served our great country, and just thank you. Thank you for doing that. I want to thank my dad, who is a Marine, served in the Korean conflict, some would call it, and thank you, Dad, for serving our country. And again, I know we have quite a few vets out there listening to the program who are in the industry, so hats off to all of you and thank you. That's pretty much going to do it for my comments of the show. Didn't have a whole bunch of emails, but I do want to thank Don for the link on the how fast the elevators in the world's tallest buildings go. And when you look at the numbers, most common folk would not necessarily consider elevators being fast when they're going, 8 or 9 miles per hour. But, when you think about the pressure and the airflow and all that good stuff, it is pretty significant. So Anyway, so and Angie, thank you for your emails with the photos regarding the old equipment that you have in your building. I will go ahead and get that linked up somewhere, but thank you for that. Let's see here. And that's pretty much going to do it. If you have something you would like to share with me or with our listeners, please send it to elevatorradioshow@gmail.com. And again, remember, that's not my primary email address that I'm able to get back to right away. And it's one of those I don't want to just watch every minute of the day on my phone. I got enough emails through work that it's good that these all go here and then I don't have to worry about it. So, one more thing I forgot to mention. It is Elevator Escalator Safety Awareness Week, so I don't know how I could forget that, but I do have a link in the post. So there's also a link going to the EESF website that will also share some links that you can print out, you can share with your customers on this important week. Unfortunately, this program contains some pretty serious articles that I wish I wasn't covering or touching on. Many of you probably already have seen in your Google Alerts news inbox. So, there were some pretty bad accidents out there that occurred this past week. So be safe out there. That's the main important note and mission of obviously what we do each and every day, and each one of us has that responsibility in terms of making sure elevators are safe, escalators are safe, and you're safe as well. Those that inspect them, those that work on them, all that good stuff. So anyway, we should have a pretty short show for you today, but still quite a few articles to cover. So we will get right into them after this nice little intro.
Let this week's news stories give you a lift on what's happening in the vertical transportation arena. Each news segment is organically dug and fresh with news stories of the week. Got lift? If not, stay tuned.
All right, first news article of the program. City of Chicago extends fire service compliance date. If you didn't attend last Thursday's meeting, Beth Scanlon was nice enough to come over and present to the association. And basically, the PDF document that's in there, and this is in regards to 18-30-320 ordinance regarding existing elevators, firefighters emergency operation, effective dates. So anyway, they voted, or City Council voted, that the date of compliance, which was going to be January 1st, 2015, has been pushed to 2017. All elevators with Phase 2 emergency in-car operations shall either comply with all the requirements set forth in 2.27.3 through 2.27.8 of ASME, as modified by items 46 through 60 of Article 2 of this chapter. And they've just basically pushed that date back. So if you don't have a copy of the City of Chicago Code Book, I believe that is listed or linked up on the CEA website, or some kind of link through the City of Chicago Departments of Buildings. And anyway, this is a good instance where the local elevator industry was able to provide some important feedback to the city, and together they kind of figured out that there's going to be too much to do in too little time. So that date has been pushed back. Okay, next link here is actually a video, and I'm going to play it. Actually, I'm going to skip this ad, and I'm going to mute that ad. But basically, I'm going to let everyone watch this in your own right. My soapbox this morning is basically, let's see here, is the reality of in-home elevator accidents causing catastrophic harm to kids. You know what? Elevators are not, toys. Obviously, they're not amusement rides, and should be treated, no matter where they are, with the utmost respect in terms of how safely to ride them. So, my point that this article doesn't seem to cover, and the video is playing, but I'm going to let everybody watch it in your own leisure. But the reality here is that there have been steps made to make elevators safer. Through the codes and whatnot. Actually, I'm gonna just hold on one second here. I'm gonna
Cool. Until last Thanksgiving, and when he stepped.
Anyway, yeah, I already missed it, but the reality is that accidents with any type of elevator that has space in between the swing door and the elevator itself, there are codes that require that distance be no greater than a certain distance. I want to say I don't want to be quoted out of context, but in Otis back in the day, and even today, has a pretty aggressive safety campaign to let people know of this. And the reality of this is that in many states, elevators may only need to be inspected once, if even that at all. So, the reality is that there's this big push to make home elevators safer through the addition of infrared-like safety devices, which I think is a great idea. But the reality is that if for existing elevators, if you can't get a homeowner to make that upgrade or that change at the cost of whatever it would be, might be $900, might be $1,000, you're just simply not going to, get it done. And I don't know if I've explained myself well enough on that, but unless legislatively speaking, that is a requirement made to anybody that has a home elevator, and somebody monitors that and somebody makes sure that happens, it's not going to get done. And so the reality is that there's no easy answer other than making sure that if you see or work on a home elevator, that you make sure the home elevator owner is aware that the distance between the door, the hoistway door, the gate on the elevator and the hoistway door is no greater than 2 inches or 3 inches, and if required, install a baffle to make sure that the door can't be closed and a child can't go in between the hoistway door and the gate ever. But it's scary. I mean, it's really scary. And the reality is kids get into places they're not supposed to. I was one of those kids. I mean, I think I swear, if I could have fit in my grandma's laundry chute in Ohio, I would have done it. I mean, I would have totally gone in the laundry chute that went down the basement. So, it's a tragedy, and I would love to see a push to make sure these kind of devices are safe. But at this point, unless you have that legislation or you have some way of monitoring it, which most states don't have, it's a little scary. So this I don't think this is going to go anywhere. I'm a full proponent of putting put some light curtains on residential gates and elevators. It's a great idea. I mean, give you case in point. Okay, a friend of mine was talking to me about a OSHA case where OSHA came in, looked at some chemicals and part of the MSDS log sheet, and found out that these chemicals that were being used at his facility were on some list that was banned. Okay, you would think that, okay, well, if it's banned, it should probably not be sold and not just have a label on it like it's coming from California. That's everything that you buy could cause cancer. And those of you in California know exactly what I'm talking about. But the reality is that in this particular situation, okay, they were using some kind of acrylic cleaner, okay, and it had something in it that was just not good. So the guy comes up to me and goes, well, I can't use it at work unless, my guys have got a full hazmat suit on and a separate breathing apparatus and a tank on their back. But when the guy said, can I use it at home? The OSHA inspector goes, oh, sure, you can use that at home. You can drink it at home. So, it's one of those deals where you wonder at what point or how good some types of, not legislation, but some types of assistance, help in terms of going. I'm not really explaining this the way I should. The bottom line is that the chemical that couldn't be used at work could be used at home however they wanted. And that's probably the way it should be, as long as the homeowner or the person using the substance or doing it is aware of the dangers or the possible issues that could present itself. So watch the video on your own. And I think it's great. I think if the more we can make people aware of elevator escalator safety, the better off we're going to be. So anyway, video is in the link. Check that out when you get a chance. It's the first article I've seen in quite some time. Huffington Post has a interesting article that has some photographs of an elevator attendant's jacket, and not that it's worth a lot of money, as a piece of artwork. So I've never really seen an elevator attendant's jacket other than the one over at the Elevator History Museum that Pat Carriger has got. And I'm not sure this one was drawn on. I don't know why it would be worth a lot of money, but it's art, and in that case, that's probably why. So if anyway, okay, another article here, interesting. You don't see these every day. Star.co.ke reporting that well, it's not found, but let me give you the gist of this article. Okay, this is an article that talks about escalators that were seen for the very first time in a shopping center in Africa. Okay, so you realize that while we all have seen elevators, escalators, moving walkways all over the place, there are places in the world that have not. And those places are somewhat of concern because if somebody is not taught properly on how to ride them or what to wear, what not to wear, there's a good chance they may get injured. And that's just my bottom line with that. So, it's interesting to see in today's, world of internet and global connectiveness that the reality is that it's not always, the case. So there are places in the world that people have not seen elevators or escalators. 2 men shot to death in Bronx housing project elevator, possible revenge killing. Man, I would hate to be anybody involved with maintaining this elevator after this may have happened. That's all I can say, because I guarantee elevator company was probably called in to either lock and tag out the elevator while the investigation continues, but it's not too good. Investigators recovered a gun at the scene, and unfortunately, it's terrible news story. We also had close to where the show is done, a shooting where a pizza man was killed 12:30, like Sunday night, which is not something you see every day. Okay, next news article coming from Fox Alabama or channel6.com. Let me see if I can play this. Another investigative report on escalator safety in Alabama, and this is coming from the On-Side, investigating escalator safety in Alabama. I guess it's pretty cool that it's in line with Elevator Escalator Safety Awareness Week, but let's see if we can play this in.
Multiple problems.
Okay, we're going to cruise through the ad for Cadence Motorsports, and but yeah, and it's again, if we can bring more light to.
We've all taken the ride. Each year, millions of people get on escalators, and hundreds of thousands get hurt.
Fox 6 News reporter Rhonda Robinson takes a look at
hundreds of thousands.
What's being done here in Alabama to keep you safe.
If you need to go up or down fast, you might choose to jump on an escalator. Unless you're Marie Sanders, who says she's not brave enough to ride again.
After that experience, it left a bad feeling.
She remembers last December like it was yesterday. When she finished shopping, she says she put one foot on the escalator, and before she could put on the other, her pants got caught on something.
It just dragged me halfway up, and then it threw me. I started hollering because I was scared and I was hurt.
She couldn't break away until a store manager stopped the escalator. Afterwards, Marie says she felt pain in her shoulder, hip, chest, and one of her knees. She left the hospital with crutches, a brace, and a $3,000 medical bill. Chief State Inspector Ralph Pate is not familiar with Marie's case because Alabama does not have a mandatory reporting system. However, Pate says what Marie describes could happen.
A gap that could get a shoestring or something caught in it.
The Center to Protect Workers' Rights reports there are approximately 117,000 injuries and 30 fatalities resulting from escalator incidents each year in the United States. According to the Consumer Product Safety Commission, there are no federal regulations that dictate how often escalators should be inspected.
Each state is responsible to pass their own safety act, if you will. And there's probably about, I think the last count was maybe 15 states that have no elevator safety act.
Alabama escalators should be inspected once a year. There are 6 state inspectors for 212 active escalators.
If it's deemed unsafe, it's shut off and not operated until it is repaired.
Armed with our cell phones, we snap photos at Brookwood Mall, the Galleria Mall, and the Harbert Center. The plan to see if these locations had inspections posted on or near the escalators. After digging through state records, we discovered that all of the escalators we checked have current inspections. Not all of the locations had a certificate posted.
By law, it's required to be posted in or on the equipment, and they need to comply with that.
The state is working with the different locations to make sure each escalator shows current inspection certificates. In the meantime, Marie still struggles to pay her medical bill and with her experience each time she sees an escalator.
I will not take the escalator no more. Why not? Because I'm afraid of it.
As for Marie Sanders' accident, I did contact the store on her behalf. I spoke with a spokesperson there who says they are going to work with her directly to help her with her medical bills. Rhonda Robinson, Fox 6 News, on your side.
Wow, you don't see that every day, right? So they're working with her to do her medical bills without an attorney. So anyway, the reality is that, hey, it sounds like Alabama's doing a pretty good job in their inspection program, so hats off to you guys and gals who do that. So good to see. Okay, next news article here is spaghetti dinner to pay off elevator repairs. This is always nice to see. Always love those spaghetti dinners, you know. Let's see if they don't have the list. They don't have the pricing listed here, but you hate to see churches out there, you know, obviously struggling with trying to find funds, and it's you know, just good to see. Hopefully they get enough money to do so. Okay, in Cincinnati, next article here. When will somebody wrote in, you know, one of those questions of, hey, write in and we'll figure out if we can find an answer for you. Anyway, so when will elevator at Music Hall Garage be fixed? City debates what to do with the Skywalk, fix it or tear it down. So somebody wrote in, why is the elevator in the garage connected to the CT in the Music Hall out of service? Last year we posed this question. The city department is supposed to control the services in the garage, and officials say that they did call saying it would be fixed, but nothing has happened. It's probably a lot of money to fix that elevator, I would think. And the reality is that in addition to that, they're not quite sure what they're going to do with the Skywalk, because it seems to be deteriorating. So you can look at the photographs on that. Honesty sometimes is always the best policy. Okay, another serious incident occurred in the Bronx, New York. Warner Cable News, Channel 1, has an article about police are seeking a man who slashed a Bronx woman in an elevator. There's actually a video of this. It's just, man, what's wrong with people? I'm telling you, it's insane. As long as you have videos and video cameras in elevators, stuff like this is just not going to fly. I mean, and I had to post this one. TimesUnion.com reporting that actually the link's not here, thank God, but it was one of those where they're reporting on the escalators back in service at Times Union something or other, and I'm like, oh man, it was like, wow. Nice to be reporting on something as important as that. So, okay, John Fellon over at his YouTube page has an interesting video on how to tell if a elevator piston is leaking or for leakage. That's pretty insightful information. Just remember that if you are not an elevator technician or mechanic, never do any of the stuff that he shows on the video. Do not go in the machine room. It is only for authorized personnel, trained authorized personnel. Remember that. Okay, Elevator Tech was killed in Los Angeles last Thursday or last Wednesday. Real serious, and again, just makes you realize how dangerous our jobs are, especially those of you that work, inspect on or in elevator systems. And this is being treated as a apparent industrial accident, so Cal OSHA will be involved in terms of trying to figure out what happened. I don't think we'll learn a whole lot regarding this, but Frank Burrell, 31 of San Bernardino, was found in the elevator shaft on the on the ground floor of a 3-story apartment building. So, yeah, just terrible. So obviously our hearts and our prayers go out to his family and anybody who knew Frank. So, yeah, not good at all. Actually, I posted on Facebook really quick. I was surprised. Okay, if you're interested in finding out what happened, the Chicago Elevator Association, the meeting recap is posted online. Go to ceaonline.org. Just as a note, the Chicago Elevator Association holiday party is going to be held on Wednesday, December 3rd at 6:30 p.m. It's going to be at the Dana Hotel and Spa downtown, 600 North State Street. That will be updated later on, probably this week. And if you're interested in attending, just contact those through the CEA website. Okay, real sad news article. MailOnline.com in the UK has an article talking about a shopper at a mall actually committed suicide by leaping from the 3rd floor escalator at the Debenhams store in Oxford Street. Oh, unbelievable. So, yeah, not good at all. obviously, and very somber. I can't imagine seeing that and trying to forget about that. So, scary. Okay, next news article coming from thehindu.com. Apparently an engineer there has come up with an idea of trying to make electricity from elevators, which is a good idea, and this is more than just a regen system that you'd consider like, oh yeah, it's already there, whatever. This is actually installing magnets on the rail and then having a motor device that is on the actual elevator itself that charges a battery. And then that battery would run, elevator lights or whatever. And I mean, that's a good idea and everything, but the reality is that, you still got to change the battery, and I don't think batteries are allowed in hoistways anymore. So maybe on an international level, that might be the way to go. But it's nice to see engineers out there looking for ways to, entrepreneurs as well, looking for ways to make things like this work. Okay, next article, 5 worst elevators at Columbia College. I posted this because the bottom line is I went to Columbia College for a year, and now the author of this article, Brianna, basically is just talking on personal experience, doesn't have a whole lot to share regarding the specific details, but still kind of funny. So anyway, want to check that out, link is in the show notes. Okay, another accident actually happened just right after the show last week, New York CBSLocal.com in Mount Vernon. Apparently a roofing worker falls down an elevator shaft and dies in Mount Vernon. Apparently he had fallen through the the gate or the screen covering the opening and ended up landing on the elevator car several stories down. So I don't know if this is like a rack and pinion type construction lift or what, but it's scary. I mean, again, you just can't be complacent on where you work, what you work around, and the equipment that you're working with. And it's so easy to do. I do it every day. I'm telling you, I work with machinery in every day, and there are days like I'm like, wow, I can't believe I didn't just cut my hand off. So, training only goes so far. It's important to just remember every morning to not put yourself in a position that that you could be injured by anything that's around you. Okay, Southern Daily Echo has an article talking about firefighters rescuing a 5-year-old boy from an escalator. 5 years old. That's young. That is young to be on an escalator, and this actually happened in West Quay, Southampton. I don't know where this is at. I don't know if this is UK or if this is in Australia or what, but I want to say UK. Yeah, it's in UK, I'm sorry. But yeah, apparently he was using a conveyor linking the mall's upper... they're calling it that. His got stuck in the device around 516. Anyway, he's going to be okay, thank goodness. But again, 5 years old, riding an escalator. I don't know what happened, but hopefully he wasn't on it by himself. Remember, parents, escalators are not toys. They're not amusement rides. Watch your kids at all times. Elevator World Unplugged has a cool blog post talking about city skylines, and here's one of the city of Chicago. It's gorgeous. I mean, this is just awesome. And when you look through some of these, and there's a link actually that's posted through the note here, through the post, it's just really cool. I mean, when you look at these skylines, these would not be possible without the work that each one of us does. Each one of us, from the guy and the gal who makes the little limit switch to those that inspect and consult for them or work on them. So enjoy the views, and definitely pat yourself on the back. And the last article for this week's program or link is Elevator World Photo Contest, and actually some of those photos came from submissions to this photo contest. So if you want to look and see where all the entries are for the Elevator World Photo Contest for 2014, they're right there. There's some really cool ones in there too, so things you don't see every day. There's entries, 90 photos, there's all sorts of categories there, so love this stuff. And Elevator World, thanks for posting it. So, and that's pretty much going to do it for the week, everybody, or this week's show. As always, be safe out there. We had some pretty serious articles to cover on the show. It just makes us realize that life is fragile, and we have to do our best each and every day. Make sure that the equipment that is out there is as safe as possible to ride on. All right, that's going to do it. Everybody have a great week, everybody, and stay warm if you can. And think spring. That's all I can say. Thanksgiving's only a couple weeks away. All right, take care. Talk to you next Wednesday. Bye-bye.